Hello and welcome to PokemonLair. I'm TD, and today we are discussing the PSA grading system and how it is applied to Pokemon cards. So let's get started. Pokemon PSA grades explained the grading system of Professional Sports Authority and how they use it to grade Pokemon cards. A Gem Mint 10. A PSA Gem Mint 10 card is a virtually perfect card. Attributes include 4 perfectly sharp corners, sharp focus, and full original gloss or undamaged hollow. A PSA Gem Mint 10 card must be free of staining of any kind, but an allowance may be made for a slight printing imperfection if it doesn't impair overall appeal of the card. The image must be centered on the card with tolerance not to exceed approximately 55-45 to 60-40% on the front and 75-25% on the back. Here an example is a Gem Mint 10 card. As you can see, this card looks really good for the centering and its edges and any imperfections. And it was graded a Gem Mint 10. A Mint 9 card is a PSA Mint 9 is a card in superb condition that includes only one of the minor flaws. These flaws are a very slight stain on the back, a minor printing error, and borders showing white or fraying. Centering must be around 60-40 to 65-35% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. And here's an example of a Mint 9 card. And as you can see, this one fits in that category. I think it has a little fraying on the corner, which is why it went to a Mint 9. A Near Mint Mint 8. A PSA Near Mint Mint 8 is still a high-end card that appears a Mint 9 on first glance, but upon inspecting, the card will exhibit these flaws: a slight stain on the back, a minor printing error, and borders showing white or fraying. Centering must be around 65-35 to 70-30% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. And here's an example of a Near Mint 8 card. This one had some minor imperfections and some of the other attributes for the edges and corners, like some fraying and whiteness on it. Moving on to a Near Mint 7, a PSA Near Mint 7 card is a card with a slight surface defect upon close inspection. Slight staining is acceptable on the back of the card only. Minor printing errors and borders showing white or fraying is acceptable. Picture focus is okay, and most of glass hollow is intact. Centering must be around 70-30 to 75-25% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. Here's an example of a Near Mint 7 card. As you can see, it fits into all those categories that they were talking about. The centering, I think, is slightly off on the front. I think there is some major damage on one of the sides. Not major, but slight damage that took it down to the 7. Excellent Mint 6. A PSA Excellent Mint 6 card may have visible surface defects or printing defects which do not take away from the overall appeal. A small scratch or on front may be seen upon a close look. Minor staining on the back is all right. Corners might show some white or fraying. The picture is okay, and some loss of the gloss hollow is okay, and centering must be around 80-20% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. Here's an example of a Excellent Mint 6. And as you can see down the right side, there is some fraying or edge damage along with the top of the card. And so I think that took it down to this grade. Excellent 5. On PSA, Excellent 5 cards have minor rounding on the corners. The surface and printing defects are more visible on these cards. Several scratches and loss of gloss or the hollow may be visible on these cards, but does not detract from the overall card appeal. Corners might show some white, chipping or fraying, and centering must be around 85-15% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. And here's an example of an Excellent 5. This Blastoise, Dark Blastoise, has a small scratch just to the left of the Blastoise on the hollow, and it does have some fraying and chipping type of stuff you can see on the right side of the back of the card. Very good, excellent 4. A PSA very good, excellent 4 card corners may show rounding, white, chipping, or fraying. These cards may show light scuffing, light scratches, and loss of gloss or hollow. A light crease or bend may be visible, and centering must be around 85-15% or better on the front and 90-10% or better on the back. And here's an example of a very good, excellent 4 card. As you can look at the back of this card in the before grade picture, you can see there's lots of chipping and fraying around the edges of that card. Very good 3. A PSA 3 card has corners which are slightly rounded, white, chipping, or fraying. Some surface defects are apparent, like scuffing or scratches, and exhibits noticeable wear. A crease or bend may be visible, and printing defects are possible. Centering must be around 90-10% or better on the front and back. And here's an example of a very good 3. As you can see, there's lots of damage on the back of this card around the edges and corners, and I actually think this one has some damage to the hollow. Good 2. A PSA Good 2 card has white, chipping, fraying, or rounded corners. Some scratches and scuffing will be seen. These cards may have several creases or bends. Centering must be around 90-10% or better on the front and back. A Fair 1.5. A PSA Fair 1.5 card shows extreme wear like white, chipping, fraying, or rounded corners. The front will show advanced wear and scratches, scuffing, chipping, and stainings. The card will have big creases or bends. The card must be fully intact and not ripped. Centering must be around 90-10% or better on the front and back. A Poor 1. A PSA Poor 1 is almost the same as a PSA Fair 1.5 grade. The difference is the defects have made the card appeal very low. These cards can be missing pieces or be ripped. This card may be warped or have another destructive effect like water damage. Half point card grades. Cards exhibit high-end qualities within each particular grade. Between PSA Good 2 and PSA Mint 9 may achieve a half-point increase, while PSA graders will evaluate all the attributes possessed by a card in order to determine if the card may be eligible. There will be a clear focus on centering. Generally speaking, a card must exhibit centering that is 5-10% better at minimum than the lowest percent allowed within a particular grade. It is important to note that there may be cases where overall strength of the card, such as the quality of the corners and print, will give the card the edge it needs when the fact that it may have marginal centering for the grade. This is true for cards that find themselves within the bottom half of the PSA 1 to 10 scale. Finally, keep in mind that qualifiers will not apply to grades that achieve the half-point increase, since these cards have to show high-end qualities within the grade in order to warrant consideration. So now you know the ins and outs of the PSA grading system and how to inspect your Pokemon cards before sending them for grading. Don't send them in blind like I did. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, you gotta catch them all.